What's up, Leafs fans? Welcome back to Leafs Nation After Dark. I'm Zack Phillips, and tonight we're going to be breaking down game number 80 of the Toronto Maple Leafs regular season, losing this one here tonight to the Detroit Red Wings in overtime, 5-4. An unfortunate one, mostly from the fact that I think everyone was thinking, feeling, hoping that Austin Matthews would hit 70 on the season here tonight for a couple of reasons. Obviously, one being you just get it done. It's out of the way. 2 games remaining. We can take that stress away, and we're not going to have to continue to wait. Can it happen? Will it happen? Will he get it done? Game 80, you get 70 under the belt, and you say, sayonara, let's take the next week off. The team's not worried about your deployment and forcing the issue over the next couple of games. You're not worried about the situation of does he get it, does he not get it, is there going to be a disappointment? And on top of that, it's the final home game of the regular season. Last chance for everyone to see you on home ice and put home 70. It would have been a nice way to go out. Obviously, the guy had an immense amount of chances here tonight. He was all over it. That line was generating probably more than I've seen them generate over even like the last couple of weeks since they've been put together. It felt like every single time he was on the ice, he was going to score. That might have just had to do with the fact that I thought he was going to score, so it just maybe over amplified it in my own head. But then you hear Scotiabank Arena, you're hearing how loud it's getting. Every single time he touches the puck, every time he comes over the boards, they're going nuts in there. That place, it's the pop when he comes on the ice. Like, there is an instant reaction just to the fans seeing him come over the boards. That's the level of excitement that's going on every single time Austin Matthews touches the ice. Unfortunately, does not get 70. He had plenty of opportunities here. I'm even looking at his stats. 10 shots on goal. Are you kidding me? 10 shots on goal for the night for the guy. The next closest player on the Leafs was William Nylander with 5. Tavares had 5 there as well. You look over to even the Red Wings, 6 shots on goal for Debrincat. Like 4 more than the next closest player in the game. And these were not wasted shots. These were not wasted opportunities. These were legitimate chances, net front chances, getting sticks on pucks, creating chances by tipping it, getting in front, getting open, fighting your way through traffic. Like, this guy was all over it here tonight. A lot of that had to do with his line. A lot of that had to do with some power play opportunities and Sheldon Keefe feeding Matthews with 23 minutes and 59 seconds of ice time tonight. So the guy had chances, doesn't get it done, but he does get to 69 on the season. Nice. Score 69, do your little curtsy, keep it moving. But unfortunately, we're going to have to wait and see if he can get it done in the next couple of games. So we'll continue to break that down, continue to watch it. If people want to call into the show here tonight, you let me know. You send me a message on Twitter, Instagram, Discord, whatever it is, whatever's best for you. You want to talk about the game. You want to talk about Matthews' 69th goal. You want to talk about the deployment, the minutes. Feel free to call in, send me a message. Happy to hear from people. Happy to have people calling into the show here tonight. So you guys just let me know. As for the game, let's kind of break this one down a little bit chronologically here. Starting in the first period, there was a lot of panic. I really tried to calm things down after the last game. I came on the show and was going head to head with people, basically saying, like, I don't get why everyone's panicking to the degree that they're doing. I'm watching Samsonov. He's had an incredible body of work over the last 3 months, since like mid to late January, whenever it was that he came back to this team after going down to the Marlies. I'm thinking, hey, let's not overreact to one game here. It's not about what he does in this one game. It's about how he reacts in the next one. How does he bounce back? What kind of level of play is this guy going to bring the next time that he touches the ice? I wanted Sheldon to throw him into this game here tonight. I know I saw Nick tweet out during saying, hey, he thought Joseph Woll might get the go, but I just kind of was hoping, throw him right back in the fire and see if things are going to be okay. That first period was nightmare fuel. That was I was getting to the point here where I'm thinking we might have to be calling Matt Murray and seeing if this guy's going to be eligible for game 1 of the playoffs because of the disaster that we witnessed in that first period here tonight. And I'm not going to put sole blame on Ilya Samsonov for what went on in the first period. It was not good. Let's call it what it is. It was not good. But it was just atrocious. The Leafs were sloppy everywhere. There was a lack of urgency. There was a lack of intensity. They seemed like they kind of just didn't really care, which we all know that. But even if that's going to be the case, you can still make tape-to-tape passes and have awareness of where guys are in your zone and not lose corner battles. Like, I know that people were upset last game about William Nylander flamingoing some shots. I personally don't really care in those. It's game 79, game 80. Don't get hurt. Joel Edmondson doesn't play here tonight because he blocks a shot off the foot. Those Leafs team probably said, fuck that, shut it down. You're going to stay out of here until game 1. That's when we'll see you again, because we're just not dealing with this, and we're not dealing with the opportunity for you to get hit in the foot again, aggravate something that you're dealing with, and then you come back, you're going to have that happen, and we're going to miss you for the playoffs. Like, we acquired you for the playoffs. This is not a regular season acquisition. But the difference to me would just be, don't lose battles. Don't give up on plays. You don't have to give up on plays. I'm not saying throw your body in the line of fire here and risk injury, but there are little things that you could do, including just have some sense of urgency on the ice. Like, that would be nice if you could just show up a little bit and give some degree of intensity and say, hey, we care. Because the way that they played in the first period just completely sewers Ilya Samsonov, creating chance after chance after chance on him, giving him no support, no help. You basically took your goaltender who had a shitty night the other night. You dealt with mental ups and downs with him earlier in the season. He didn't trust himself. The team didn't trust him. The coach didn't trust him. So you're kind of in this panic mode where you've got 3 games left in the season. You're trying to get him back and make sure he gets back on track after that nightmare game the other night, and just trying to make sure everything's going to be okay. And then you do that to him? Like, no, he was not good in that first period. That's reality. But you also didn't have to hang the guy out to dry. You didn't have to say, hey man, we know you got to figure this one out. We know that you got to bounce back, and you had a tough outing the other night, and you've been really supportive of us, and you've worked your bag off to get back to where you are right now. Good luck. Why don't we just give you high danger chance after high danger chance after high danger chance and see how you fare with it? What the fuck was that? That's a tough way to come out for the first period. That is a tough way to start a game when you've got a guy like that who can be that fragile back there in the net. You cannot be having that happen. I was very disappointed in the way that they started that first period. I was really disappointed in the energy that was brought there. It just felt like they really didn't give a shit at all. And we know that there's going to be an element of that over these next couple of games, because it doesn't really matter that much. But just don't fuck the guy over. Like, that's basically what you did here tonight. If that's not Ilya Samsonov, I feel like we're probably not as concerned about that first period as well. I'm not saying because it's a better goalie. I'm just saying because of the mental state of goaltender, or how good a guy's been. Maybe if you had a guy like Swayman and Allmark in there who haven't traditionally maybe gone through those ups and downs, or Demko or Vasilevsky, Shesterkin, whatever, you're like, hey, next game he's going to be fine. It doesn't matter. And if he goes in there in that first period, you play a game like that, there's a chance he goes absolutely blackout and stops every single shot. You throw Samsonov in there, you know that guy could crumble and we never see him again. Like, you know that there's a chance he goes in there tonight, lets in 4 in the first period, doesn't recover, comes out in the second period, lets in 2 or 3 quick. Night's over, the Leafs lose, everyone in the building is pissed off, and Ilya Samsonov is never wearing a Leafs jersey again. That's not the way to treat your goaltender to start the game. I want to talk about Joe Veleno a little bit. That hit, let's go to the reffing here first a little bit. The NHL reffing is a complete and utter fucking joke. The way that this game is officiated is so inconsistent. It's inconsistent from period to period to period. It's inconsistent from game to game to game, from week to week. It's so insane to watch the officiating and have to deal with this officiating. It's so frustrating as a hockey fan, because any given night, if you're someone who doesn't know what's going on and you turn it on and you see Joe Veleno smoke Timothy Liljegren from behind there and get a 2-minute penalty, You're like, oh, okay, that makes sense. And then the next game that you watch, the same thing or less happens, and the guy's getting a 5-minute major for boarding. There's just no consistency to the game. There's no consistency to the officiating, and I don't understand how you're going to get people all on the same page, whether it's coaches, players, managers, or fans watching, if that's the bullshit that you're going to go through. There's no excuses here for me tonight about, oh, the reffing lost this or anything like that. I don't really care. But that play right there, that's a major. That is a major penalty on that hit on Timothy Liljegren. This guy comes back from injury. He gets plowed from behind, and it's a 2-minute penalty. It's just ridiculous to have that officiating like that. That was a good response, I thought, from Holmgren and Robertson. You know you're getting a power play. That's a situation where you kind of have to teeter the line a little bit. You don't want to just jump in there and start punching guys right away. You're getting a power play. You're also Nick Robertson and Pontus Holmberg. Like, you're not beating the shit out of anyone. If you jump in there, you get an instigator, and you get the wheels beaten off of you by Joe Veleno. I'm not saying Joe Veleno is a tough guy, but, you kind of risk it a little bit, play 50-50 with that, and it could just completely go the wrong way. Now Detroit's going to have momentum. They're only doing a 2-minute penalty, and you're getting an instigator. You're getting a penalty on top of it. Negates your power play. Like, that's a situation. It's probably all right. Mike Batson saying Lily put himself in that position again, but still a penalty all day. I mean, I agree he put himself in that position, but my disagreement comes in that he stared at his numbers the entire way into the boards. The ones that are tough for me to kind of decipher or go through is when a guy's skating and then immediately turns and pulls back the other way and shows numbers, and the guy hits him because he's following through something he was already committed to. So that, I think, it's kind of tough because, yeah, he did put himself in that position, but what do you want him to do? He's skating after the puck. He can't skate backwards, not look at the puck and watch the oncoming player. He shoulder checks. He goes in to make the play. He doesn't do any sudden turn or any sudden movement, and Veleno just buries him from behind. He knew what he was doing the entire time. He had his hands right on his back, drives him into the boards, and then pushes him in. Edited saying, TBH, I don't even know if that was penalty worthy. It's debatable. Edited, I don't know how many drinks you've had today, but it's too many, brother. If you think that wasn't a penalty, that's a major. That's a 5-minute penalty, let alone is that a penalty. That's a penalty. All day. So, mix in a water, brother. Mix in a water. As far as that penalty goes, though, the other thing I'll also say, Joe Veleno, this guy might just be a scumbag. That hit, I was sitting there thinking, I'm like, man, I feel like I've seen him do something else dirty. I did. I searched it up after. He's the guy who stomped on the player's leg in the World Championships last year at the end of last season. Like, that's... You're going to talk about, oh yeah, that's not a penalty, whatever. This guy smokes the guy from behind, and then you kind of think about some of the history and things he's done. That's I don't know what to tell you, man. That's a penalty, and it's 5-minute. Edited saying, but other plays like that have gone penaltyless. There you go. There's the problem with the officiating in the NHL. That should answer your question as far as what's going on. Make sure to hit that like button if you haven't already. I appreciate all the support. I appreciate everyone participating in the chat here right now. As well, last time there was a super chat before I got off. I don't think I read this one. It was Phenom said, so I want to give credit here. Phenom said, you read his text, it's time for your dad to call in. If my dad ever wants to call in, then he can. But I don't think he will. I don't know. Up to him. I don't know if this is the game for him to call in. We do have a super chat here. All right, super chat from D. Marshall. D. Marshall says, Core 4 need to man up and hit some people or we dead. Here's one thing I will say in agreement with this. There were a couple of times I saw Tavares in front of the net battling on that power play in the third period. There were through a couple of different power plays that they had. Yeah, there you go. My dad texts me. Funny. There were a couple of different plays during that third period where power plays where Tavares is battling in front of the net. The whistle goes. JT actually turns around and he kind of starts getting into it with some of those guys. Nylander, Matthews, and Marner just all turned away immediately. I don't know in those situations what's going on. I don't know if they're kind of just like, let's get the fuck out of here. Like I don't want to deal with this. Maybe they've been given instruction, just don't engage. Let's just get through these final games. I don't know. I mean, I'm just trying to look on the positive side of it. That's probably not likely to have happened. I feel like that's really unlikely, but I mean, yeah, there was some that I was kind of like, okay, whatever. The thing that I would just disagree with here is like, I don't expect these guys to hit and be those kinds of players. These guys are not like Nathan McKinnon. These guys do not drag you into the physical game like a guy like Nate does, where he will just go absolutely haywire and throw helmets at people and level guys and stand over them in the neutral zone. Like, these guys just are not built like that. They've never been built like that, and I highly, highly, highly doubt that it'll ever change to that point. Like, I just can't see it ever getting there and that happening. I don't think these guys are capable of that. I don't think they would do that. What I would hope from them, though, is, okay, you're not going to be those kinds of players to do that. You're not going to jump in. You're not going to hammer guys. Just don't shy away from the physical play. We know you're not going to go smoke people. We know you're not going to go out there and just absolutely dummy guys every time you're on the ice. That's fine. When the puck goes in the corner, you don't have to run the guy through the glass, right? When the puck goes in the corner, just finish the check on the guy, or at least rub him out and make him feel it. Like, take away time and space, at least physically, because if you just have some force, you have some energy behind you, where you go in there and you're tight on the guy right away, it just makes them feel it a little bit more. It's not about hammering the guy and sending him out of the game and putting him into the dressing room after the hits followed through. It's about wearing guys down. That's what happens in the playoffs. You wear guys down progressively throughout the playoffs, throughout a series. You go in there, puck goes into the corner, you just get the guy and you finish him off into the boards. Because this team, traditionally, they just look at these players, puck goes in the corner, we'll try to get it, but if I can't lift it with my stick, then I'm out of here. Well, that's not how the playoffs works. Like, you're never going to have success in the playoffs if that's how you're going to approach things. You need to be in there hard and fast on these guys, taking away time and space and just taking away that pressure. Or applying that pressure, taking away just their level of comfort, effectively. And it just builds through a series. So I would kind of disagree with you there, D. Marshall, where you're saying, like, we need to man up and hit some people. But the point would just be, like, you're going to have to engage in the physical play. I'm not expecting these guys to go out and kill people. It's not going to happen. But just make them uncomfortable. Make their lives uncomfortable. The only guy that I actually truly don't give a shit about hitting people right now is Austin Matthews, because he's so good at stealing the puck. It's better to watch him just go into the corner and just lift the guy's stick. Like, that guy does not need to hit people because they look and see him coming and they know that he's going to jump in and take it from them right away. Like, I don't really care. I think rubbing people out on the wall, or you want to know what? You want to know what happened in Scotiabank Arena to get that crowd absolutely insane? Is if Austin Matthews killed someone. If he leveled someone in the neutral zone, that place might explode. We got another super chat. Super chat from the man, the myth, the legend, Phenom. Phenom, appreciate the super chat here. He says, Six brought up a good point earlier. Zach, your thoughts on if the AM70 March is becoming a distraction for a team gearing up for playoffs? I mean, Okay, it's kind of tough to answer this. I would say no. I don't think it's a distraction. I Okay, let me think about how to properly answer this. I don't think it's a distraction. Do I think that the team is... I mean, I don't know. I feel like I'm going to end up contradicting myself here, but I don't think it's a distraction necessarily, where I don't think it's like taking away from their play, but I think it's something that they're just caring about so much more, being like, we got to get him there. I heard them say that Sheldon had brought up that he didn't feel like they'd been forcing the puck to him, forcing the pace of play, or forcing the way that they're playing in the offensive zone, or even kind of, throughout their defensive zone to cater to that. And I would probably agree. I also think that Domi, like I disagree with Six saying it's interrupting our natural flow. Like, I don't think so. If you watched what Max Domi was doing once he started playing with Austin Matthews, nothing has changed. Like, there hadn't been really any change that's gone on since Max Domi started playing with Matthews, because the second he got on his line, all he was doing was dishing the puck. I think that's just who he is. Like, the puck comes to his stick and he gets it off right away. He gets it off quick. He finds Matthews with time and space. And this guy, part of it is Matthews is finding these little gaps, and he's so good at scoring with even minimal time and space. Domi's able to find him in there. I feel like Marner kind of just does this thing. I'm gonna make this bad here for Marner. It's gonna go dark here. I mean, Six is gonna be pissed, but look, I feel like Marner can hold on to the puck for way too long at times, and he just does these rinky-dinky little skate around the zone, hold it. Where's Matthews? Turn the puck over. You're doing ballet. You break your knee. You're out for a month. Like, he can just have a tendency to just hold it forever. And I think when you play with a guy like Tavares, that might work, because he's just going to go slot himself in front of the net and just bang home one-timers standing in the slot with a little bit of time and space there where he's doing that. Like, that's kind of his game, where he's just stick on the ice. You find me, I'm going to put it in. Matthews, I think, on the other hand, is like, just get him a little bit of time and space. Like, as soon as that's there, give it to him, because the more chances that you can offer him, the more opportunities you get him in tight, the more chances you give him to get shots on net, like, the more chances that guy's going to have to score goals. And that's the guy you want the puck on his stick. Like, that's who you want doing this. So I like Domi being there. I don't think it's really taking away from their game. I don't think it's a distraction. And the other thing is, like, who is this affecting, in your opinion? If this is what you're talking about, like 6 1/3 saying it's taking away from our natural flow, we should only be focused on playing hockey, making the right play at every opportunity. He only plays on one line. He's not playing on all four lines here, going through, and everyone's pace of play, everyone's focus has turned to that. Like, the second, the third, the fourth lines, it doesn't fucking matter to them. Who cares? And they're not the ones who are going to be changing anything. So there's 75% of your forwards who it shouldn't be taking away from. And the other thing is, why don't you just justify this? The guy is a pure goal scorer. And don't you want him to be the guy who's trying to score? Like, who's putting the puck in the net? Like, isn't that the premier player on the line of Domi, Bertuzzi, and Matthews that you want doing that? And also, when we're saying, like, I see, yeah, I just, like, I think Domi's just going to make the play to him anyways every time. He was two away. Yeah. So I don't think it's like a distraction. I mean, it feels like every play is going to him, but I think he's just the best goal scorer on the ice, and that's the guy I want with the puck on his stick. I just haven't really felt like it's been taking away too much myself. And the power play, you can say as much as you want about the power play, The power play stinks. They scored here tonight. That was a brilliant pass across by Nylander to Marner. Brilliant pass by him. But, like, these guys force so much shit anyways on the power play. Like, is that any different to Matthews than what they were doing before? At least now you're giving the guy an opportunity to get 50. Or 70, sorry. I don't know. I do understand what you're saying. My disagreement would more so just go to, like, I think Domi just tries to get him the puck that much anyways. And the power play, the power play 6, like, I get what you're saying. More just, like, these guys just force the shit anyways. And they go rinky-dink around, and then try to force the perfect play, the perfect pass, the perfect shot. And then it's like, oh, for God's sakes, right? Like, every time. That's my beef there. And so if you're going to force anything, at least give it to the guy who's almost at 70. If you're watching the stream right now, please hit that like button. At 50, we'll do the smelling salts. At 100, we'll do the smelling salts. Want to make sure we're continuing to grow the channel, grow the stream. If you guys haven't noticed here right now as well, I'm rocking this incredible shirt. Incredible shirt. LeafsNation.com. Like, you're telling me you wouldn't be rocking one of these? I got a hat. I got hoodies. I have hats. I have hoodie. This is the kind of stuff that you're going to want to be rocking as you're going into the playoffs and you're trying to support your team. Playoffs are near. We are ready to bleed blue. Nation Gear is ready to gear you up for Toronto's playoff run. You can rep your favorite team as they battle for the cup. Shop the exclusive Bleed Blue playoff tee and more at nationgear.ca. You're going to want to check those out. These shirts are incredible. You're going to want it for game 1 of the playoffs. You know, we're about a week away here now from what we anticipate to be game 1 next Saturday night, whether it's at home, on the road. We'll find out over the next week, but we're thinking Saturday night. That's when it's going to be. You're going to want to get these orders in now because you want to be prepared for the playoffs. You want to be repping this team during the playoffs, and you're going to want to be doing it with some exclusive Bleed Blue gear that you can find over on nationgear.ca. So head over nationgear.ca, click the link in the description of the show here as well to get your Nation Gear merch. Now, regardless of what team you're trying to support, that's where you should be. Okay, a couple other things here for tonight that I want to get to because I think some of these are important. Talk about Samsonov a little bit in the first period. I kind of want to circle back to that. We got a little bit away, so I just want to kind of circle back and close this off. The way that the team showed up in the second period, incredible. You fight back, you climb back into that one, you limited opportunities, and basically more than anything, I felt like you just cleaned up play. Like it just kind of just tightened up a little bit. You started to dial in. You weren't giving Detroit as much opportunity. You weren't giving them the chances. You weren't giving them the odd man rushes, and you weren't making as many just kind of stupid mistakes that you were just shooting yourself in the foot over and being like, here, Detroit, have an opportunity. Here, Alex Debrincat, you very good NHL goal scorer. Why don't you just have a point-blank chance? Dude, every single time I go to say his name, I go to say Mason Raymond. Lucas Raymond. Almost at 30 goals this year. Why don't you just get a chance in the slot? Like, they started to tighten some of that up. Obviously, some of those chances came again in the third period, but the second, much cleaner. Much, much cleaner. Samsonov only faces 6 shots there in that second period. Tidy work from this team. You also battle back, tie this one up at 4-4. Third period. That was a tight game. That was a tight third period. I talked about it in the game preview. I was interested to see what happened because Detroit's life is on the line here. They have an opportunity to make the playoffs. You need to win. They basically, the best chance they can have is winning out, and then you've taken care of your end of things, and you have done that, you've done the best that you can. You get through, win games, you're going to want to do everything that you can. You're going to want to do everything that you can. This Leafs team doesn't matter that much to them, whether they win or lose. So the fact that they showed up the way that they did in the third, I was still fairly impressed. Because you could have just folded it. You could have just said, that's it for me. We're good. We battled back. You lose in reg here. You lose by 1. You give up a chance. it's game. Thanks for having us. We're out of here. You didn't. I think it could have been better, but regardless, I was just at least impressed with the fact that they did fight through and play a tight game against a team who's desperate. That's a desperate Detroit team, and we saw it there in the third. So as far as some of those chances go, you're on two opposite ends of the spectrum. The Leafs are at least somewhat comfortable, whereas, you look over on the other side of the ice, Detroit, that's a team that can't give up any opportunities. You can't miss out on any of these chances. Denver, Zach, do you ever get nervous doing presentations in person? No. I do not. I'll tell you, I was nervous one time. Actually, I've been nervous for 2 streams ever. The first ever live stream I did, I was nervous. Had never gone live before. Had always done pre-recorded stuff. Was nervous then. Second one was the show that Nick came on with me to announce on my old channel, to announce that I was coming here to Leafs Nation. Those are the only 2 times I've ever been nervous for a stream. And I don't even know why I was nervous for the one that Nick came on, but that was the second time I was nervous. After the first one, first live stream I ever did, got it out of the way. I was like, all right, that wasn't that bad. We'll continue to get better. We'll tighten some things up. And then the month ago or 2 months ago when Nick came on my show, that was the other one. I don't know. I was nervous. I was excited, but nervous. All right, couple other things. Liljegren comes back, plays the rest of the game. Good to see there. As far as his game tonight, there was some stupid plays that went on. There's some adjustments to battles that are going on, some fatigue that happens just from the intensity that comes from a game that you can't simulate in practice. The fight, whatever. I don't have too many comments about Liljegren. I'm glad he came back to the game. Bobby McMann leaves the game here tonight with an injury. Does not return. Lower body. Awkward collision. I think it was with Dylan Larkin in the corner, and it just probably was more of like a discomfort thing, and I'm hoping that it's precautionary. I have yet to I'm trying to find, looking at my phone because I have tweet notifications on for the Leafs beat reporters so that I could try to find information to give to you guys here on the stream. Haven't seen anything myself here about McMahon, just that he wasn't going to return. No other severity, no sense yet on the severity of the Bobby McMann lower body injury, so there you go. That's the extent of the updates that we've got. And that's it. Outside of that, Jake McCabe, the other thing, will be fine, didn't return due to swelling around the eye. Jake McCabe is a goddamn warrior. Jake McCabe deserves all the flowers in the world, and I'm excited to see Edmondson back in this lineup and just have him a full, healthy roster going into the playoffs and rocking in the playoffs, because the way that these guys play, the life on, like the put your life on the line, all balls to the wall, block everything, be absolute menaces in front to the net, fight for space, and like it's not even just about punching guys in the head. It's about fighting for space and protecting your goaltender and sticking up for your best players. Jake McCabe is a playoff player through and through. I'm so happy to have this guy on the team, and his face has taken an absolute whomping this year. Like, what a word to use to describe that as well. I don't know where that came from. But this guy just got beaten up all year in the face, and he just keeps doing it. He doesn't care. That puck to the face, shout out Dylan Larkin too, immediately goes to check on him, realizes, hey, I just hit this guy in the face with the puck. But goes to check on him. McCabe was gushing blood, has to leave the ice, doesn't return to the game. I imagine he's going to be okay, probably just a patch job, and he'll be fine. But what a warrior. That's it for injury stuff. I did see here as well, by the way, Sheldon Keefe says there was a discussion about pulling Ilya Samsonov after the first period. Excuse me, and it wasn't unanimous. I felt our team was going to be better, and I felt Sammy needed to be a part of that. I felt it was really important. Good decision. Good decision. I mean, you go in that room, and I think the conversation basically should have been as simple as this. Sammy could have been better. The coaches discussed that. You don't have to out that one publicly. You go into the room and say, you guys, that was bullshit. You didn't show up. You didn't play. You didn't have intensity, and you aired that fucker out. You left him out to dry back there. And that 4 goals in the first period, that's on you. You need to be better into the second. That's the conversation I have. You need to be better for him. You are walking a fine line. You got away with this one here because if he goes back in there and lets in the first shot of the second period, it could be sheets and thanks, see you later. Well, that's it for Samsonov, but it worked. It worked here tonight. Okay, couple more things that I want to get to from tonight's game. The goal on the power play, the Marner goal, that is, that puck movement was gorgeous. The other one that I think was really nice as well was the Matthews one. And obviously, yeah, the goals themselves are pretty, but it's the plays that happen that I think just needs to be more something that's going on more frequently, because you change the direction that everyone on the ice is defending to. You change the direction that everyone on the ice is looking to when you start to do stuff like that. Think about the first goal that happens. It's at the point. It goes Riley to Nylander, who spreads the ice. That penalty killing unit, including Reimer, which we saw, Reimer was basically sitting in the Platinums watching that puck go in the net, but that puck goes from Riley to Nylander across the ice. Everyone on the ice has to shift. The penalty kill is going to shift. They're going to rotate over across to kind of start to defend that one and try to shift into place. Before they can set, this is the most important part of this. Before they can set in their new rotation where you're going to go across to defend the movement across the ice to Nylander, as soon as it gets to Nylander, he starts going in, which is going to force some more uncomfortableness from Detroit because they're going to have to keep rotating, and you're going to have to try to find a way to get across quickly to cover that. And then while that box is a little bit broken down because you're moving fast, you zip that one across to Marner. So it goes literally across and then back across the other way. Everyone on the ice is going to shift focus. And in that moment of being able to open up the box and shift things, you just break them for a second, and then you open up that seam. The other one would be the Morgan Riley. Well, it was more than Morgan Riley. And again, this is something that's important here too. Nylander across on the right side, zips it across to Riley. He dishes it down into Marner in the high slot area, and then he goes back out to Matthews on the other side. That stuff is so important to have any type of success if you're going to get things going in the playoffs, because you just have to move it quickly with a purpose. You have to be ready to zip the puck around at any given moment there to make things happen. But it's not just moving the puck for the sake of moving the puck, which is where this team can get themselves into trouble a lot. That play that we're looking at where you've got those guys moving, it just opens everything up for you. Everything opens up at that point. And that's one thing that I feel like they've lacked a lot in this stretch where the penalty kill is not being very good. I just feel like that's been one of the major pieces of this team that's okay, you got to really start to make that happen more, because it's just doing things with a purpose on the power play. They just move it for fun and then hope that one of their incredible shooters is going to be able to get it done. And that's just not good enough. And that's, I feel like, why we lose it in the playoffs every year, where it's just it just disappears, because that's not the type of game that you can play in the playoffs. You cannot be allowing that to happen when it's the most important time of the season. You need to take advantage of those, and moving the puck that quickly opens things up. If you want to if we take a look here at the whiteboard that we've got going as well, the one thing that I would kind of talked about that happened on the one, which I want to just try to explain to people as well. You've got Nylander over here. You have, oh my God, there we go, Riley here, and then going back, you're going to have Marner, Matthews, Tavares. This puck starts over at Nylander. Once it goes from Nylander, it is passed across to Riley. This shifts everything across. These guys, this is where they were. This is where they ended up being after things started moving. But this is where they end up being. And then as soon as this one goes to Riley, it goes quick dish into Marner. Now the focus of Reimer is back here. So he went from looking out here to having to move across here to now back to the middle very quickly. That's the most important part of all this. This happens very, very quickly. There's not standing around. There's not holding the puck, dilly-dallying with everything. You're getting it and moving it with a purpose quickly to the next guy who's in an open position, and it just breaks down the box. And then back out to Matthews over here, and then obviously Austin Matthews, the best goal scorer in the NHL, is going to have that shot. This movement is something that we've seen so few and far between where you see it moving this quickly and with this much purpose. Having puck movement like this will fuck up teams. It doesn't matter how good or bad the penalty kill is. If you move it this quickly with guys who are this good, you're going to have success in the playoffs with your power play. They are just stagnant and lack a sense of urgency right now to the point where it's just like, this is not going to work, right? Traditionally, we see this team standing around. You know, you can have guys in any spot. You know, JT kind of hangs out here a little bit. Maybe Willie's over here. You got Matthews over here. Marner down here. Riley stands up at the top at the point, and the puck just goes all the way around. You know, passing, and it just goes around the perimeter, and then someone maybe at one point tries something. That's not gonna work. It's not gonna have success. You're just relying on talent and talent alone to get yourself opportunities. That doesn't work in the NHL at the next level for teams who are gonna go on and have long-term success. You put yourself in a position where you move the puck like crazy, you could probably get more shots. You could probably get more opportunities. And the thing that I feel like kind of just gets lost a little bit, look, I'm obviously not an NHL coach. I'm sitting here talking to you guys, breaking it down on a virtual whiteboard. It is what it is. But you're probably going to get yourself more high danger chances than you are even right now, where you're like looking for the perfect play all the time. You do these, you're just going to mess with teams, and they're going to end up chasing. I think that some of that movement, that's why I was so happy with that power play goal. That was just one of my big takeaways of the game and what happened there. I thought it was just great movement, and I saw them do it twice, right? They did it two different ways. The first one was the Riley to Nylander, quickly across to Marner, and then he's able to bury. It just breaks the box. I think those are pretty cool. I thought those are cool power play goals. Kudos to them. But again, this is the problem. Can you do this consistently? Can you do that consistently? I don't know. We'll see. I think that's kind of it where I'm at for the thought or my thoughts on tonight's game. There's not too much else. We talked about the sloppy play, the third period, the late penalty by Domi in the third period leading into overtime. I think is just unfortunate more than anything. It's a penalty. For sure, like you get the stick in the hands, it's a hook. It sucks. It's kind of soft, like for sure, especially with that much time left. But it's a penalty. You got to kill it. The only thing I had a problem with there was how easy it was net front for Larkin to be able to get his stick on that puck. It feels like there should have been more fight. So that would be my beef with that Larkin goal. Like, why is he just able to get his stick down? Why is he able to get his stick down and be able to have that ability to fight through that? Like, you shouldn't be winning that net front battle. The other one that I've got a problem with, or the other thing that I was worried about, I guess, here tonight is we saw Keefe put Brody and Riley together. I think more of that was just based on you saw Liljegren go out, and then later on we had you had McCabe leave the game, so that some of that pops up. But like, The goal that Morgan Riley and TJ Brody are on for is Morgan Riley pinches down, loses the battle. The player that he pinches on beats him up the ice. They're gone on a 2-on-1. They're in on Brody, and Brody's just not having a good year. You know that one's going to get exposed a little bit. Goes cross ice, bang. Okay. That's tough because those two meets probably shouldn't be playing together. I know that you're dealing with some injury stuff at that point. You're dealing with some roster stuff because you sent a guy into the room. But still, I think you should probably try to find a way to not put them together the best you can or to the best of your ability. So that was a concern for me. Again, I'm going to pick on Brody. Sorry to him, but I'm going to do it. He got eaten alive a couple of times where it was just looking lost, making bad passes, making bad reads, not being able to advance the puck well enough or quickly enough. Just kind of looking out of position like he had no idea what the fuck was going on. Sometimes I'm looking, he just has lost eyes, right? The camera cuts to him and it's like he's kind of sitting there like, I don't know how I got here. I feel like it's just this weight of this rough season for him is probably wearing on him. You feel bad, but it is a business, and he's kind of been hurting the team a little bit here and there. I think he was just... It's just a rough... It was just not a great outing for him, I didn't think. I didn't think that there was too much good that outweighed some of the bad stuff I saw. There was a play that Lyubushkin ended up having to save in the third period where... TJ Brody just completely gets walked in his own zone. And then it was Lyubushkin who breaks up the 2-on-1 pass. But my God, that sent some chills up my spine watching that happen. I think that's it for the breakdowns. I talked about in the pregame show, Max Domi to record a point here tonight was a way that I was approaching this game. I still think that was a good bet. No points for him, unfortunately. He goes -2 here on the night. -104 was the bet. Half unit on that. It loses. Can't win them all. Down a little bit right now. But we'll get these back. We'll keep going. We'll get these back. So that was the bet for tonight. And then two final things before we can get out of here. First one, and I want to see what you guys have to say here in the chat as well, because I don't want I want to see what your thoughts are on this game. Let's get to our play of the game. All right, play of the game here. This one is going to be simple. I broke it down, so there's not going to be too much for me else to add, or too much else for me to add to this one. But my play of the game is going to be the Matthews goal. It's the 69th goal for him. This guy is electric. It's so hard right now to not give these play of the games to him, because it's not like he's just scoring goals. He's scoring goals in disgusting ways where it's like, even that one tonight, it's a missile. It's an empty net he's got, but it's a absolute missile into it. There was no shot James Reimer was going to get across and make that save, but it's also what I broke down earlier. It's the quick puck movement. It's the power play moving things fast and with a purpose. It's not just moving it fast for the sake of moving it fast or passing for the sake of passing. It's moving it fast with a purpose. You dice them up because you go cross ice, you go into the middle, then you go back outside. That's the kind of stuff that's going to get their head spinning. It's going to get them off track. They're not going to be able to keep up with you. You move it like that, you're going to be able to have success against most teams in the league, I think, especially on the power play and the special teams, special plays, special players. But that's going to be mine. Honorable mention, on a normal night, if Matthews isn't chasing 70, and that's not goal 69, which is outrageous, I think the other one would have been the Nylander pass to Marner. That pass, the angle that they showed from the camera from the corner, that shows him passing it down, it was threading a needle to get that puck to Marner. It threaded a needle to get it to him to be able to score like that. That was beautiful. What a pass. Great puck movement there as well. And you're able to score very quickly into that power play, which should have been a major as well, but it's not. NHL officiating, man. NHL officiating. Should have been a major, but that would be an honorary mention. The other thing that I want to give to Nick Robertson. I'm still not the biggest Nick Robertson fan. I don't hate him or anything. To me, he's not bringing enough to the game if he's not scoring. Right now, he's scoring, but I think we can all admit we expect that at some point here, the scoring is going to stop. That's just what he does. He scores in bunches, and then he disappears for a little bit. Sheldon Keefe sits him. He goes to the press box. He comes back. He scores in his first game back. That's Nick Robertson. And right now, we're getting the press box bump. Right now, we're getting that I just sat in the stands, and I don't want to do that anymore, and I'm going to go play. If he can keep doing this, and he can keep scoring like that and bring that depth, who the hell am I to say don't play him? Stay. But as Six says, goals matter. Goals matter if you're scoring them, and he doesn't consistently. He just doesn't. He goes for these bursts, and then he's gone. And I think if he's not scoring, he does nothing else for the game. And it's not even oh, this guy stinks. He's making horrible plays and ruining everything. He has some bad plays, some dodo plays here and there, but he just kind of he vanishes. He's just out there to play minutes. But I have to give him kudos for the goal here tonight. Pontus Holmberg, the back check on that play to break up Mason Raymond's opportunity, not take a penalty as well. That was incredible. The puck turns around, goes up the other way, and Nick Robertson goes turbojets down the other way, pulls in just like Austin Matthews, gets that shot off, and it's an absolute snipe by him. That's disgusting. If you can do that in the playoffs, that's going to be great. I'm worried about the consistency, and I'm worried about his ability to keep it going. We're 4 likes away from 50 here. Let's get that before the end of the stream. We got one more thing to get to before we get out of here, and that'll be our grades of the game.
You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
Okay, grade of the game for me is going to be... I think I'm going to go with C+. That first period was so dog shit. That was atrocious. I mean, honestly, I might go B-. I feel like C+ is maybe a little bit harsh. I don't know. Samsonov, there's going to be some other stuff like C+. I'm going with C+. I'm sticking with it. Samsonov, I'm happy that he fought through. I'm happy that they kept him in, and I'm happy that he got an opportunity because he battled back and he was a stud in the second and the third periods there. That save that he made on Lucas Raymond, not Mason Raymond, Lucas Raymond, point blank in the slot in the third period was incredible, but also that guy should have never been left alone like that. There was some really sloppy play in the first period. This team felt like they didn't show up on time here again. Matthews gets to 69. That's great. Sammy, really not great in the first period, but I think he kind of tightened things up, got better as the game went on. I think the team got better as the game went on. Samsonov, 844 save percentage, that's not great, 27 saves on 32 shots. That comes in the first period. The team screwed him a little bit there as well, so that's kind of factored in. As for the special teams, this penalty kill, man, you all told me that when Mitch Marner comes back, things were going to get better. This penalty kill was rocking, and he comes back, and they've not been very good over the last little while. They have not been very good. Detroit goes 2 for 3 on the power play here tonight. Now, mind you, the inverse has happened, where the power play has gotten a little bit better, marginally, in terms of their success rate, which Rosie predicted and told me it will, so don't panic. Okay, fair. You go 2 for 4 on the power play. Good stuff. Penalty kill. Come on. Yeah, C+. I'm just higher than people in the chat here. I think that looking at the second and the third periods and the fact that they responded and they played the way that they did against the team who who is hungry, who is determined, who really needs to win and is going to go balls to the wall every single time that they're on the ice. Right now, they're just in a different mental spot than you are, so it's just going to be different. Yeah. 6 1/3, it always circles back to Marner with you, Zach. Yeah, I'm just not. I think I wouldn't have as much of a problem with him if it wasn't for the contract. Let's just call it what it is, and for the way that he handled things in the negotiations. So that's how I'm always going to be. I'm always going to be slightly jaded towards him because I think he had an opportunity to be this legend in Toronto and kind of screwed it up a little bit by the way things were, way things went. He came back and that penalty kill gone down a little bit. That's all I'm saying. I think that's going to do it for me here tonight. Saturday night, last Saturday of the regular season. Austin Matthews gets to 69. Blake Brim, shout out there, 69. This is so cool to watch. Like, if we're gonna talk about anything that's going on, and we're gonna be, we could be pessimistic about the team or whatever, and that's fair. We're gonna break down the team as a whole. It's not a one-man show here. You know how cool it is to watch a guy in the blue and white on the Toronto Maple Leafs put up 69 goals. Nice. 69 goals. This is so much fun. At the end of the day, that's one thing that we're never going to forget. We'll remember these teams if they continue to choke it away, and obviously that'll be something. But no matter what, we're going to be able to look back and be like, 69 goals. Let's assume I'm hoping he gets 70, but to even just have that thought of this guy on the Maple Leafs scored 69, it's awesome. It's so much fun. 69. Nice. All right. That's going to do it for me here tonight. I appreciate everyone who tuned into the show. I appreciate everyone who watched, subscribed. If you're not already, you can find us on podcast as the Leafs Nation After Dark. Subscribe, rate, review, do all that stuff. Give us 5 stars. I appreciate it. But if you missed the live shows or you just want to hear it again, or maybe you watched it and then you just want to see what else is going on, you want to take it in a different form, you can find it on all podcasting platforms, wherever you get those. If you're watching live and maybe YouTube isn't your preferred choice, you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, right here on YouTube, obviously. You can also find us on radio, so make sure to check that out as well. Head over to nationgear.ca. Let's get ready for playoffs. The Leafs, maybe they're not as ready, but we as fans, we can get ready. We can bring the intensity, we can bring the heat, and we can be ready to go when it comes to the playoffs. And you're going to want to do that in your exclusive Bleed Blue gear, nationgear.ca. Make sure to check it out. Link in the description of the show. That's all for me here tonight. I appreciate everyone who watched. Hit that like button, subscribe on your way out. Thank you so much for the support and the time. We will see you all next Tuesday after the game against the Florida Panthers. Right? I got that. Yeah, I didn't want to make sure it wasn't backwards. GTG. Thank you, everyone in the chat. Hit that like button on your way out. This has been game number... Leafs Nation After Dark. Whoa, that was a choppy ending. This has been Leafs Nation After Dark for game number 80 of the Toronto Maple Leafs regular season against the Detroit Red Wings, losing this one 5-4 in OT. Moving to 46, 24, and 10 on the season. Thanks for watching. See you guys Tuesday. Keep believing.